So we're talking about 3 episodes of One Piece today. For starters, let's talk about, I believe it was 686. Now, that particular episode, for the most part, a lot of it was set up, and to be honest with you, it's starting to remind me of Punk Hazard. A lot of running going down or whatever, and a lot of the progression is really just them running. One of the biggest things that happened in that episode, though, was Law mentioning this person that he admired, and Doflamingo took him away, Corazon. So we're getting a little bit more into Law's backstory, which is good stuff there, and teaser alerts. Honestly, I think Law's backstory and some of the stuff to do with Law is some of the best and most rich content in Dressrosa. So for anime-only viewers, get excited about that. So we got a little teaser into there. Wish it was a lot more, but we already know the One Piece pacing, so we ain't gonna get too much. And I could tell that the Zoro versus Pika is going to be 10 times longer in the anime than in the manga, because in the anime, like, they're going at it, which is actually is kind of fun in the anime, which is weird because, like, in the manga, I didn't care for a long time about it. I was like, fuck you, Pika, I don't care. But the anime is adding in a little bit more. I don't know if that's in-canon filler of them going at it. And the thing I like about it is that Zoro ain't even trying. Zoro is like laughing and smiling. He's not putting the bandana on. He doesn't give a shit. And he's like, just like making fun of him, saying his voice sounds like the Sopranos or whatever. So funny shit there that Pika really, even though he's supposed to be a Don Quixote executive, that just goes to show where Zoro's power level is. Like, Zoro is not an executive fighter anymore. If anything, he's more closer to probably fighting the big dogs, the Doflamingos. Frankie continuing to fight Senor Pink. Again, alright. Again, a lot of this episode, honestly, aside from a little bit of mentions of Corazon and a plan to free Law from the handcuffs, it was just kind of a little bit, the 686 was alright. Nothing really spectacular, to be honest with you. I would give that episode a 5 to a 6 out of 10. The best things it did, again, was Law. Also, Law saying that he wants to hurt Doflamingo directly, so showcasing that whatever happened in the past was near and dear to his heart, and he wants to fuck him over. Now, between these 3 episodes I'm going to be talking about, 687 was the bomb. It was the bomb. It started off a little bit like, oh, you gotta see Dillinger keeps on yelling like, shut the fuck up, Dillinger, just please, can you stop? But once that Sabo versus Fujitora went down, Toei, one of the best things you're doing is, since you like to be slow as fuck with everything, thank you for putting a lot of filler in this fight and adding extra bits and whatnot, because that was cool. Like, it didn't look the greatest or whatever. Honestly, they could have put a lot more effort into some of those scenes with Sabo and whatnot, but when he was going in, first of all, he beat the fuck out of Bastille, just showcasing that he is on a whole other level. Like, Vice Admirals is nothing for him, and that just shows, like, how strong the Revolutionary Army is, because, you know, he's part of it, and he's up there and there, so fucking dope shit there. And honestly, just the fighting that they did in this episode, like, every now and then, One Piece, when they do like to throw in fights, and especially the anime seemingly is going to make these fights a lot larger than they were in the manga, it just looks epic as shit. And fucking Sabo just going in, it was priceless. And then when Sabo dropped the bombshell that he's Luffy's brother, and then they put the connection, Ace, Luffy, and Sabo, that's making me think, bounties are gonna rise. Bounties are gonna rise. Like, now they're finding out that one of the people from the Revolutionary Army is Luffy's brother as well. Yeah, that shit's gonna go up. Luffy's gonna be a fucking dead man walking. One of the things that the anime did that was very nice, that I don't remember this in the manga, and even if they did, it didn't stand out as much as the anime, is when Sabo found out the news of what happened to Ace, it gave a little bit more of a clearer picture. Like, he broke down. I don't know where he was at that particular point, so it kind of makes you guess, like, okay, if he didn't know about it, he just read it in the paper, he was either unaware of it because of he was somewhere else, he wasn't able to know about this, or it was just that he was unaware at the moment. But then again, it was broadcast, so kind of makes me wonder, what the fuck were you doing, Sabo, that you didn't know about this? It definitely begs the question, like, where was he then if he had no idea about this and read the paper and was just like, oh my god, he must have been on a very deep mission, knocked the fuck out, or I don't know what. And then Sabo versus Fujitora. Well, Fujitora dropping meteors and shit, and Sabo like a boss. And it's like, the thing you gotta wonder is just how strong is Sabo at this particular point, because if he's just now getting adjusted to the Mera fruit, then imagine a week of him training with it. I mean, Meteors is coming down, and with just like an hour, less than an hour of him having this Mera fruit, he's whipping ass, and like, come on, like, Sabo's probably, like, honestly, I would definitely say I think that Sabo would annihilate Luffy if they ever went at it, which they won't, because clearly in this episode he was just talking about his brother, he loves him, etc., etc. He won't, but I think that he's totally above Luffy and beyond. Well, one of the things about his character, if you notice when he was fighting Bastille, he was like digging into his face, and it looked as though he was kind of liking it. I don't know if that was just on Toei's part, like the way they designed it or whatever, but Sabo like a violent motherfucker? Like, is there more to him than meets the eye? Could Sabo have some sort of ill will in him about some certain things, or what's up with that? Because it kind of got me a little bit like, yo, Sabo, chill out. It's not that... Calm down, bro. And honestly, 687 was just an awesome fucking episode. Really loved it. 8.5 out of 10 for that bad boy. Very good. It was mainly fighting, but it was epic fighting as fuck. It was just like, hell's motherfucking yeah. That was my favorite episode in a long time of One Piece. And then 688 was fine. I would say 688 was definitely better than 686 because there was a little bit more going on, and especially the setup at the end. But a lot of it was, again, running. Luffy and Law running down that tunnel. A lot of just running. And honestly, I was like, it was an alright episode. I think the best thing that it saved it was the setup at the end with Doflamingo seemingly coming into the tunnel. So it's like a big setup right there. So good stuff there, but... yeah, I don't think we give a fuck about the Tontadas taking flight, dragging people and shit like that. Lasted way too long, and I've noticed that with a lot of these episodes, it's getting so bad that sometimes I'll be like, yo, is my episode froze? And it's literally like we're just looking at one of the Tontadas for like 5 seconds, and it's like, yo, what's going on with this episode? And seriously, fuck the Funk Brothers. Like, I never liked them. Like, you broke... you're not funky, alright? You're not funky. So, 688, again, I felt... to a certain degree, I thought it was just because of what happened at the end. It was a bigger impact than 686, but it was fine too, honestly. About 6.5 for that one. It was alright. Nothing spectacular until the ending. The ending is what really gave it that, because otherwise it was just a lot of running and shit like that. And again, fuck the Funk Brothers, and no one cares about the Tontadas. And yeah, that's my catch up again with One Piece. Hopefully I can stay on top of it this time, but... the best episode, honestly, was that Sabo versus Fujitora. I fanboy like a motherfucker watching that shit. But the other episodes were alright, and again, it's typical One Piece, so you gotta love it. Every now and then you get a fucking awesome episode, and then you gotta deal with the Tontadas fapping for 8 episodes. But let me know what you guys thought of these episodes. Best episode out of these 3. What do you think about Sabo versus Fujitora and Sabo annihilating Bastille? Do you think there's some sort of bad seeds inside of Sabo? And how strong do you think he is? But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you do so as well, that'd be amazing. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.